Imagine waking up one morning to find that every single country in the world, except for Finland, has simply vanished. The skies above are devoid of planes, international phone calls are silent, and global trade has come to an abrupt halt. Only Finland remains isolated and alone on Earth. This isn't a bad science fiction film. So what happens next? If you find yourself intrigued by this intriguing scenario, stick around. In this video, we're going to dive deep into a captivating thought experiment. What if Finland was the only country left on Earth? Before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Now let's get started. In the opening moments after realizing it's just them left on the planet, shock would blanket the nation like a thick fog. The Finnish government would hastily convene an emergency session to grasp the staggering situation. All efforts to reach out to neighboring countries over the radio would be met with static. No reply to distress signals sent into the void of space. Even attempts to contact nearby naval vessels resulted in disheartening silence. With all communication channels down, it would soon become painfully evident. Finland stands alone. In that chilling moment, 5.5 million individuals would become the last known humans on the planet. This sudden isolation would be unnerving, but the initial days wouldn't be marred by panic. See, Finland is celebrated for being one of the most self-sufficient nations in the world. The country boasts vast, lush forests, thousands of glimmering lakes, and an abundance of clean water. Its infrastructure is sophisticated and well-developed, providing a sturdy base for society. So while the gravity of their unique situation would sink in slowly, there wouldn't be an immediate struggle for survival. Rather, every component of daily life would need to be rethought. From fundamental needs to the intricate fabric of civilization, for instance, supermarkets would still be stocked, schools would still function, and factories would still hum. However, the reality of their isolated existence would begin to intrude upon these everyday aspects of life. As the realization dawned that no external aid or resources were forthcoming, Finland's well-stocked stores would gradually dwindle. The nation, while self-sufficient, had relied on global trade for certain vital components and raw materials. Without replenishment, these supplies would eventually dry up. Take, for example, the healthcare sector. Finland's advanced medical facilities and high-quality care would initially remain unaffected. But as time marched on, the absence of crucial medications, advanced medical equipment, and specialized medical supplies would cast a long shadow over the healthcare system. The same fate would befall the technology industry. Finland, with its numerous tech startups and multinational companies, had benefited from a globalized economy. But without the influx of imported components and software updates from abroad, many of these firms would grind to a halt. Yet, in the face of adversity, Finnish ingenuity and resourcefulness would shine through. The country's strong emphasis on education and its skilled workforce would prove invaluable. Professionals from various sectors would collaborate to keep essential services afloat, drawing upon Finland's rich natural resources to substitute where possible. For instance, Finland's already robust renewable energy sector would take center stage. The nation, which had made significant strides in harnessing wind, hydro, and nuclear power, would pivot even more aggressively toward these energy sources. Farmers and engineers would work in tandem to optimize agricultural output, utilizing traditional methods supplemented by modern technology. The transportation sector would also undergo a drastic shift. With no planes or ships arriving from outside its borders and fuel supplies dwindling rapidly, the nation would pivot toward electric trains and trams. Finland's comprehensive train network and rich cycling culture would become life, fostering local production and consumption. Small, secluded towns could transform into hubs for local food and energy production. each contributing to the larger ecosystem of this new localized economy. Over time, this radical restructuring would profoundly impact daily life in Finland. While some aspects of modern living would be curtailed, others would flourish. There would be no more international news or entertainment imports, but local artists and storytellers would find a captive audience. Finnish, already a beautiful and functional language, would likely become even more rich and nuanced, reflecting the nation's unique circumstances. In this altered reality, Finland would hold within it the collective memory and history of the entire human race. Its universities, libraries, and museums would become repositories of irreplaceable knowledge and culture. Academics and students, once engaged in international collaborations, would turn their focus inward, safeguarding and disseminate ingest knowledge. They'd comb through historical records, scientific journals, and literary masterpieces, ensuring that the wisdom of the past wasn't lost to the winds of time. Museums, too, would transcend their traditional roles, becoming vital memory banks of a world that has disappeared. Each artifact, painting, and sculpture would not just be appreciated as a piece of art, but cherished as a tangible link to a vanished civilization. The internet, once a window to the world, would become a relic of the past, its servers silent, its connections severed, yet the spirit of connectivity would live on. People would rediscover the joys of face-to-face interactions, strengthening bonds within their local communities. Local festivals and gatherings would pulsate with renewed energy, becoming platforms for sharing stories and preserving cultural traditions. Life expectancy would decrease dramatically. Without access to the latest medical technologies and the advanced pharmaceuticals that prolong our lifespans, people would die younger. Basic illnesses that are easily treatable today might become fatal. The loss of specialist doctors and the unavailability of complex treatments would contribute to a significant reduction in average lifespan. Furthermore, the absence of routine health screenings and diagnostic tools might lead to a surge in late-stage diagnoses of ailments that could have been addressed earlier in the previous world. However, in this altered timeline, this decline in life expectancy could also serve as a catalyst for societal change. Faced with the stark reality of mortality, individuals might reevaluate their priorities, placing greater emphasis on personal relationships, community involvement, and the pursuit of happiness in the present. Communities would rally together, forming support networks that prioritize mental well-being. Counseling and therapy services, though initially strained by the sudden societal upheaval, would regain momentum as people seek ways to cope with grief, anxiety, and the trauma of loss. As time evolves, Finland might begin to venture outward. At first, it would be with drones, equipped with cameras and sensors, scouring the landscapes, searching for signs of life or remnants of civilization. These unmanned expeditions would be instrumental in assessing the safety of venturing beyond Finland's borders. As the drones returned with data, maps, and images of the world outside, small teams might be assembled to take the next step in physical exploration. These expeditions, akin to the journeys of early explorers, would be fraught with uncertainty and danger. The mission to re-establish contact with the outside world, or uncover clues about the world's current state, would be both thrilling and nerve-wracking. Satellite technology, repurposed for local use, could assist in gathering necessary data about the environment and any potential resources that still exist. By deciphering signals from weather satellites, for instance, Finns could predict seasonal changes, plan agricultural activities, and ensure preparedness for natural disasters. Decades later, Finland, with its abundant water resources, could find itself at the center of a new aquatic trade route. Rivers, lakes, and canals could become the lifeblood of a revitalized trade network. Waterways could facilitate the exchange of goods, making land expeditions into distant regions unnecessary. Finland's strategic location in northern Europe, coupled with its mastery of water transport, could position it as the hub of this revived trade network. Throughout this journey of rediscovery and rebuilding, the core values that define Finnish society would serve as guiding stars. Education, environmental sustainability, gender equality, and innovation would blend harmoniously, shaping the path forward. If Finland were the sole survivor of this global upheaval, it would hold within it the seeds of a new civilization. As generations passed, the descendants of Finns might look back at their ancestors with reverence. They would study how their forebears had navigated the treacherous waters of an isolated existence, cherishing the stories of resilience, adaptation, and unity that had ensured the continuation of humanity. Over time, they might even set their sights on the stars, launching ambitious space programs to search for life beyond our planet, or they might choose to focus on terraforming other parts of Earth, bringing them back to life and ensuring the preservation of our species. So, what do you think? How do you think Finland would fare if it found itself the sole survivor of a global catastrophe? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this fascinating scenario. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for joining us on this thought-provoking journey. Until next time.